Well, suffice to say, we had something pretty cool there, and you can see it over there on the right-hand side for our intro. But it's amazing how it works in production, but it doesn't ever seem to work when it's actually showtime. So that kind of sucked. But either way, welcome to Top Rope Spoilers, and this is what happens when you do things live. It's sometimes things don't work out as you imagine. But I'm Steve with On the Ring Apron. I've got my co-host here,
Kia and Alyssa.
You've seen all three of us today. They got a lot more views than I did. That's okay. Sex appeal, baby. And Little Critter is down here, so don't think he's out of play here. But Zane may decide he wants to hop up and join us here in a little bit. But we're here.
I think it's comedic humor.
Yeah, I can imagine. But ultimately, we're here to discuss Bad Blood. And I will say that I think that they missed a golden opportunity to be able to, try to see if they could get their hands on a certain Taylor Swift song for this particular live event, but I guess she didn't feel like paying out the money, and they didn't feel like paying out the extra income on that. But
I think they went a different direction.
Yeah, the weekend must get everything. I think it's an unwritten rule now. Either that or Poppy. Jelly roll. But either way, for those of you who've never joined us before, I want to give this one more shot, so give me a second. Oh, well. Either way. It was basically this thing over here on the right-hand side, but, it would have been big and blown up on the screen, but I can't, for some reason, get it to work, so... Oh, well, we tried. Oh, well. Sorry, boys, I gave it a shot. But for those of you who've never joined us before, this is our prediction show for our different premium live events here with WWE and NXT. This one comes a lot easier for us because it'll be right here in our hometown of Atlanta, GA. So we don't have to go as far to do media and to be able to enjoy the things with the rest of the universe as we normally would. But no different than any of our other shows, we are going to take the time to do our predictions. You can see the scoreboard right above my head and on the top of our board here. I've still got the slight edge after our double PLE last time. The OTRAs have narrowly edged out Alyssa right now by 1 point. Alyssa running in third. Kia's got some work to do, but still well within the hunt, and you know how things go as we enter the back half of the year. Survivor Series has worth more points. Royal Rumble's worth 10. So you've got an opportunity to pick up some 20-pointers there if you work things right. So it's just a matter
of keeping your seat warm for you.
And that's typically it, and I'm trying to keep this over my shoulder for the time being. But let's go ahead and move into our first of what are currently 5 matches on the Bad Blood card. That's going to be tough to say. So let's get that down. Let me pull the little timer up here because we definitely want to try to stay on pace because we want to be able to get in and watch the Braves. Right now we're just having to watch the scoreboard over in the corner so we don't get too terribly distracted. There we go. I was going to say our little timer's not resetting, but there it goes. But ultimately, let's move to our first match, which is going to be for the WWE Women's Championship over on SmackDown, as the current incumbent champion, Nia Jax, will defend her WWE Women's Championship in a rematch from SummerSlam as she takes on former champion Bayley. Now, this, of course, has turned into a very heated exchange between the two, where Bayley essentially said, Nia, you're unsafe. You haven't changed a bit since you last came over here, and you're still as unsafe as you've ever been. You don't deserve to be champion because of that. And ultimately, Nia has just continued to lay waste to every single person that has faced her along the way. And has also, at least for right now, has seemingly kept Tiffany Stratton in her back pocket, preventing her from being able to use her Money in the Bank cash-in. However, that kind of came to a head on the last SmackDown as ultimately Nia ended up grabbing Tiffany by the throat and essentially said, you are not going to fail me. You are not going to cost me this championship. Cash in on Liv, cash in on Roxanne, but you're not cashing in on me. And you could see the look from Tiffany towards the end of that she didn't take too kindly to that. Also on the flip side of the same coin, you've had Bayley having to essentially have to earn her rematch, ultimately by having to not only beat Nia and Tiffany in a tag match, but also having to face off against her friend Naomi in order to get this title match to start with. And Naomi, has consistently been right on the peripheral of championship matches, but hasn't been able to pull the victory out yet. So it's curious to see where this is going to end up heading out. Alyssa, you would be picking first, so we'll let you also have first conversation. No, I'm talking like after me.
Oh. Okay. Well, I think it is kind of messed up how Nia has basically made her earn her rematch. Because watch, when she ends up dropping the title, whether that's now or later on, gets cashed in on, whatever they want to pull the trigger on with that, watch, she won't have to earn it. She'll just be, I want my rematch. And she'll get her rematch. So I think it's messed up in that fact. I think it's also messed up that you had two friends go against each other. I also think it's absolutely ironic that she wanted to do the match between the two of them, like the tag match with her and Tiffany, and then them two, and then she's the one that gets pinned. That's what you keep talking about, that shit. That's all I'm saying on the matter, though.
Exactly. But, so it's kind of interesting, when the
she's
roles
like,
are
if
reversed.
one of y'all two get pinned, then you have to leave SmackDown, and if you get pinned, meaning Tiffany,
go ahead.
If she gets pinned, then she might as well want to go to SmackDown. All that mess you were talking, but we're the one that got pinned. Very awkward. We're gonna mind our business. We're gonna keep it pushing, Kia.
Again, I'm not gonna say she's a bad champion. I'm not, because she's kind of done her thing. I still say she needs work on the mic, but It is what it is. Have your cousin over there, Roman, help you out a little bit, please. That would be great.
Roman got better things to do.
That's family, though. That's not the point. The point is, and Alyssa stated it best, you've been talking mess this whole entire time. You've been holding the title. It's been a great run. You've had a great run. But with all respects, after what happened, and you're sitting here telling Tiffany, if you lose, and this and that, there, and you've got to go. Tiffany don't take well to a lot of things, but you would assume, okay, her and Nia are friends. Her and Nia will be cool. But Nia's treating her like she's treating Bayley and Naomi. So what's the point of having me as a friend? Again, unless I'm just your right-hand woman, or I'm just the person you keep in your back pocket, or I'm just, I'm just here to assist you so you can keep your title. But if that's the case, then, I feel like you can do it on your own. You've done everything else. You don't need me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't care how much of a good friend we are. You start treating me like you treat somebody on the street, we're not gonna be friends no more.
No, for real.
We will not be friends. I will make sure I personally cash in on you with eye contact. Don't play with me.
I will do it deliberately. I will look at you and cash in and take your title, and then still.
I'm gonna look you in your eyes when I'm pinning you, like, bitch, yeah, it's mine now.
Yeah, no,
it's gonna be with disrespect. Please don't play. Like,
and I do think that ultimately does kind of play a role in all of this, because at the end of the day, you do look at the fact that Nia Jax has only had one world championship run. Prior to this, you've got to go all the way back to her winning it at WrestleMania 34 over Alexa Bliss. But then inevitably it turned around, and it was Alexa Bliss using Money in the Bank after she narrowly escaped Ronda Rousey, who had just gotten here, but ultimately it was by cash-in that Nia lost the championship to start with. So it does show that she's learning from her mistakes and learning from her past failures and whatnot, as the Brave strike first. So good stuff, come on, guys.
Keep it up, y'all.
That's it. But moving to our picks here, I go first because I do have the lead at the moment, with Alyssa going next. Just for reference, so that way everybody can be aware. Right now, the vote is currently sitting on our YouTube community page. You can go in, you can throw in your votes. We go all the way until the bell rings to decide the winner. Right now, it is 73% in favor of Nia Jax right now, which to me I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but I really do feel like they believe that Nia is the betting favorite, and she is the betting favorite in Vegas as well. And I'm going to agree with that. I'm actually going to go with Nia. I do think it kind of defeated the purpose of making Bayley go through all of this, setting up things. I really think you used this storyline really more for three purposes. You gave Bayley her rematch, and I think you start planting the seeds for Tiffany to potentially turn face, as well as maybe having Naomi turn heel. So there's a lot of different combinations that could go there. 1, 2, or maybe even all 3 could potentially happen. But right now, that's what I lean. So I'm going to go Nia to retain.
I can see it going both ways. I could also see it ending with cash in.
Yeah,
So,
and unfortunately that we don't take that into account here.
Yeah.
So, we very well could end up with a no contest if ultimately Tiffany comes out, ends the match, and whatnot. So we unfortunately can't take that into account or say, like, hey, what happens?
Yeah, I'm just going to go safe here. I'm going to say Nia. I think there will be some type of interference, some type of something. But I think Nia will retain.
Okay.
Since I'm like in last place,
You just gotta pick and choose which ones you want to try to catch up on us on.
I love Bayley and I love everything that she's been working for and she's been doing and whatnot. But I'm gonna have to go Nia only because, like you said, if she's learned from her mistakes and she's learned from her eras and everything, then I don't think she deserves to have it taken off of her. Even if Bayley had to rework to get her championship, that doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm gonna go with Nia and see how that plays out. And again, if she gets cashed in on by Tiffany, great. If Tiffany decides to kind of put the briefcase in her face or whatever, that's great too. Because after what you did to me and how you talked to me, like Alyssa said, you're gonna do that.
You got me messed up.
Yeah, you got me fiddly, bump up.
Not using my
and
lingo.
Nia also, you talk about, she's done too much to get the championship run taken off of her so quickly. Her first title run, and you're going back again over 6 years at this point. Was only in the 40s, I believe, in terms of number of days before ultimately she lost it right back to the person that she wanted from to start with. So she's trying to learn from her mistakes, but right now it's looking like Nia across the board. So we'll see. The OTRAs, it's not so far away that they can't flip the vote if things were to go a certain way, but we'll see how it all pans out. But let's move into the second match on our card. It will be the first of two battles that will involve the War Line with the Judgment Day. And this one, just a standard singles match, but, definitely with some implications as you look at the former leader of Judgment Day against the so-called, there is no leader, but I'm kind of the leader type of thing, as former friends now turned bitter foes. Damian Priest and Finn Balor will now go head-to-head for the first time since Damian and Rhea's exodus from the Judgment Day. At this point, the Terror Twins have essentially set their eyes on one purpose, and that is destroying the very Judgment Day that they worked so hard to create the power of. It was very similar to their predecessor, Edge, who got booted out of the club and then made it his goal to
destroy him.
To essentially destroy things. So you look at the Judgment Day consistently using the numbers to their advantage, but because Dominik and Liv are going to have their own issues with Rhea later in the evening, more on that later, Finn is going to probably still have, JD McDonough and Carlito in his corner. So there's still, the idea for some shenanigans and some play on there, but Damian has gone to bat that says, look, I'm just going to keep coming back, and I'm just going to keep coming back until, you guys are gone.
Yeah.
As long as that takes it. How many times I got to get beat down is fine. But, exactly, we're not stopping till you're gone. And so, Bad Blood seems very appropriate in terms of, giving it the name of what this has turned into, as this is definitely one that has gotten very personal, very ugly, because, these two won tag team gold together. These two won, had, fantastic, chemistry together, to realize ultimately that Finn was setting all this up behind his back and claimed to be his friend. So it's a tough road to have to face a former best friend, but you can see the anger and the bitterness on both sides, and they're both just ready to go.
With all honesty, I'm glad to see that Finn's in a one-on-one, but I feel like, in my opinion, I don't feel like that's going to be a long-term thing, because I feel like at some point, Finn is going to get help along the way. It doesn't matter if it's Liv or Dom, even if they have something else to do, it's just like they're always there. It's not like one-on-one ever, and that's the sad fact, is because Finn used to compete one-on-one with no help, nobody, and used to be like, I don't need you, I don't need that, I can do it on my own.
Exactly.
But since the Judgment Day started and he came in, joined, and kicked Rhea and Damian out, it's been like he can't do nothing by himself. And to me, I think that's sad that he can't, JD can't, Carlito can't, Liv can't. Everybody needs one another. So Let's see how it plays out. Now, Damian has become an unstoppable beast, and yes, he's getting beat. Him and Rhea are getting beat down, but that only fuels their fire for them to get back up and keep coming and for you and coming for you and coming for you. And at some point, they're going to take y'all out. I feel like they need to do that ish one by one. I feel like they need to do that, and then they just hang you in the shark cage, and they need to just like say, "Hey, we've made an example out of you, so just stop."
Ciao. First things first, mommy. I love the fact she threw that shoe at that girl like it was a chancla. I felt that on a spiritual level. That girl took that van off and said, "What?" And it just flew and said, "Ooh." I said, "Yes."
She was having some childhood flashbacks.
I felt.
I think we all were, except
Boy.
well, mine was a belt, not a shoe. But you know, I digress.
Whatever Clinton could get his hand on.
whatever was nearby.
Okay.
Beat my ass with a telephone.
Please.
Oh my gosh.
Telephone, hangers, everything, extension cords. Don't play
Hey,
with me.
let's not get the FBI called on us in this episode.
Look, this was a different time. I grew up like 20 years ago. Be quiet.
Black household.
Anyway, but yes. So.
She could say that, I can't. So, moving on.
Surprise. In all seriousness, though, yeah. First things first. Shout out to the chocolate. Second, I mean, when it comes to these two, you've seen them with the highest highs, and now we're seeing them at the lowest lows. I mean, like, you see them get in the ring, and you can tell they can't stand each other. You can tell they can't stand each other. But also, I'm just waiting because I have to agree with what you said. It's ridiculous that you brought a group of people together. And it really just depends on the leadership, honestly. If we're gonna bring it down to the brass tacks, when we first put them together, they were all great individual competitors.
Mm-hmm.
When the leadership shifted and Edge was taken out, they were still doing their own thing. They could do their own thing. They could do their group thing. They could play whatever piece they needed to play. At this stage, now that you've shifted leadership
again,
leadership. Again,
right, because according to Finn, there is no leader.
Right. Leadership, again, now you have all people who act like they can't stand on their own. Y'all are jelly. They have to have the container. They have to have the Judgment Day cap to be on them in order for them to be effective. Because you see them, when they go one-on-one, they lose. Mm-hmm. So, what's really going on? But, we're going to mind our business. Way to go, Braves. Y'all got yourself out of that. They were
Freed let the bases, they loaded the bases with nobody out, and Freed pitched out of it. So nice job. Getting to your picks, and technically you're up first. So you can continue your point while also making your pick.
So I'm just gonna call it like it is. Damian and Rhea can work together and they can work apart. You've seen them do it multiple times. You've seen them take on tag teams. You've seen them do things separately. I'm going to go with the people who can do their own thing. I don't want to have to depend on somebody else. I love that. I think of them like when I'm paying bills. If I can't live there on my own, I don't want to live there. That's all I'm saying on that matter. I've got Damian. I'm going to take Damian. Terror Twins. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Ride that train till it falls off.
Okay. And just for reference, because I said I would bring where the OTRA polls are right now. This is a split 50-50.
50-50.
Right down the middle. It's shifted 51-49 a couple of times in. It's shifted 51-49 a couple of times in both directions. This is going to be the one that is going to come down to every vote is going to matter. Man. So, again, community page, because you could be the difference. And we've seen how the OTRAs have come up a point short, at the end of the year. This could be the one that we look back on later, and this is the difference maker. But when I looked just before the show, it was a straight 50-50 across the board, both sides. Kia?
I don't know what they're thinking. We're going to have to tell y'all to stop whatever y'all are thinking or doing, because it's just... someone has to pull for Finn.
They might know some we don't.
Someone has to pull for Finn,
Probably not, though. I don't know.
I'm gonna take Damian. I feel like, again, Alyssa, you hit the nail on the head. He can do things by himself. He can also get assists from Rhea, but you have to think he after the shift, you have to think him and Rhea work well together, and they work well separately, but they've also come up at the same time, and they've been together for a long period of time. They're out, wrestling. When it comes to Finn, again, you need help. You always need help, and that's the sad thing is I hate to see that. So I can't pull for you like I used to back in the day when it was King Balor, Demon Balor, or whatever. I can't pull for you. I'm sorry. So Priest all day, every day. Get it done.
Okay. And ultimately, I'm going to go Damian as well. I feel like, this is not where it ends. I think War Games is going to be where all of this is going to ultimately, is going to bring its thing to it. But, I feel like, they've given everything. You called it floor theory, or, whatever you called it, ring theory, where essentially whoever gets beat down on the go-home show is the one that typically wins. It's not perfect, but, it's enough odds. There goes our... That's traditional. I think we always are doing laundry whenever we're doing these shows, so go figure. Sorry about that. Anyway, Damian has always been on the wrong end of the numbers. The reality is, though, this is one Finn's got to do by himself. And I don't know if, Demon Balor eventually becomes a part of all of this later on. But I do feel like, if you have it truly one-on-one, Damian has the advantage over Finn. And if Carlito and JD choose to get involved, that's a DQ. Damian wins in that circumstance too. So I like it. Now, I could see a scenario where I don't think Damian is the one that's looking like the winner when it's all said and done. But I do think he wins. So a lot of chances. We did have a guy in our chat, Ian, so thanks. First of all, thank you for joining us. Feel free to gift or like or anything like that, but, get some other folks in here to chat with us. He wants to give a very quick thought because we don't know if he'll be able to stick around until our main event.
Okay.
Who do we think Drew feuds with after his story with Punk? So just real quick, brief answer. We're going to talk more about it in the main event segment, but just real quick, after this is done, who's Drew going to feud with?
I could see him going back with Seth.
Ooh, that's right. Seth's back now. I could see it.
I could see him going back with Seth. I could also very easily see him getting into some type of tiff with somebody on the way to this one, or somebody comes out, something happens, I don't know. And you find something. But Drew is very slick at the mouth, so I don't think it'd be hard to find him.
I don't think so either.
Drew is Raw, right?
Yeah, he's on Raw.
I'm trying to figure out. Gunther's Raw too?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that.
And that's where I was going to lean as well. Talking about potentially having, saying like, look, now that Punk's behind me, win or lose, I've wasted enough of my time when I want to go back and win the title that, should have always been mine to start with. Ian also brings up an interesting one. He said, what about him being a victim of the Wyatt Six? Maybe he needs to learn from past mistakes. Maybe he needs to learn. Because, again, there's a lot of things, and they've seemingly kind of disappeared for a little bit, and waiting for something to end. And I just don't see Punk being the one they're going after, but what if it's Drew?
I mean, who has he betrayed in that sense?
Everyone. The people.
The
people. His fan base.
That's true.
Because he's been talking shit about us. He's been talking shit about...
He said I'm worthy for everything.
Ooh, I like it.
I do too. That's a good one.
This is why I love fan interaction. This is why I love our follower interaction, because it brings up all these extra thoughts. Now, it runs our show long, but, maybe we'll start having some fan appreciation shows as we go along. So, Ian, thank you so much for that. And again, if you got other folks who like to chat wrestling, we're on here all the time. Let's move to match 3, and this is the other side of the equation for the Judgment Day, and it is the Shark Cage match for the WWE Women's World Championship between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. This will be their third and likely final meeting between the two of them in terms of, having a shot at the championship. So it really is just going to come down to, whether they want to continue forward with Liv being the incumbent champion going forward with needing a new storyline from Rhea, or if this is where Mommy finally stops it, brings an end to the revenge tour, and, moves things forward in with her victory. Now, we've seen Liv be able to get inside Rhea's head. She also has been able to successfully injure her on 2 different occasions. So Liv has proven that she is more than capable of being able to stay with Rhea despite the fact that Rhea is faster and stronger. But Liv has claimed, I'm smarter than you, and that's why I've beaten you, and that's why I'll continue to beat you. But also, as Adam Pearce has so kindly pointed out, it's typically been Dominik that has, that has gotten in the way. So this time, let's see how Dom handles things. when he will be suspended above the ring in a shark cage, forced to watch this match above the ring over both of them. Now, we've seen this match before in NXT, and typically, they show up with a plan and everything else, and it is still, contrary to belief, it is still a standard wrestling match, so it is not no disqualifications, no countouts, or anything like that. It's just a match in a way that is developed to where theoretically Dom should not be able to get involved. But they almost always do, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of Judgment Day couldn't potentially be able to get involved if this one goes ahead of Damian and Finn. We've seen, this has been a year in the making. A year in the build-up between injury to Liv Morgan, injury to Rhea, bringing them both in and out. It finally comes to a head here at Bad Blood, where everybody expected that it's going to end, at least in terms of the World Championship picture. I do think there'll be one more run at War Games, for Survivor Series in November. But I think this is where it all comes to a head. So, between the two of y'all, who do you feel has the advantage, and how do you feel about this one?
I'm so tired of Liv talking. I'm just so tired. First of all, I'm just tired of Liv. I'm tired of seeing her. I'm tired of hearing her. I'm tired. She needs to go ahead and just be a mute for me. Be a mute and put on some clothes. So be a mime at that point. With all respects, as many times as she's been injured,
look who joined you.
and Rhea has been injured and whatnot, I feel like, with all respects, you sit here and say you're smarter. You're sitting here. What? You have Dom on your side. I'm getting to the point of being angry. You have Dom on your side. And
you can feel it through it, can't you? You can see the frustration.
Dom has been the one that's been helping you, and Pierce brought that point up, and I was like, about time someone saw that beside me and Alyssa, because, we see everything, but we won't even discuss that. Yeah, that's true. I just need you to think about what you said. I'm smarter? Yeah, no. It's just you got everything that she had, and pretty much you are the sloppy seconds, or you have her sloppy seconds in every form. You have
she
Dom.
said, hey, I'll take thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths. I'll take it all.
That's disgusting. You respect yourself, first of all, by putting on some clothes, because you have no ass. And second of all, keep the sloppy seconds. Let Rhea have her stuff back.
We should have let Alyssa go first, because she is firing up at this point.
And at that point, no. I would love to see Dom suspended above the thing. I would love to see him be out of play.
What do you mean we're going to love to see it? We're going to see it.
I know, firsthand. With all respects, you're embarrassing yourself. Please stop. It's just not a thing. Just stop. And Rhea, I saw that. I saw the shoe come off, and I saw whapa, and in my head I was doing the George Lopez, the sound effect. Whapa! I kept playing it over and over and over again, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, let's go.
And Cat and guest.
Yes. I'll see him.
No, he's blended quite into your shirt quite nicely on this camera, but the cat you can see the pointy ear, but that's about it.
If you know what to look for, if you could see him, then...
Okay, I think he had made feelings pretty known on how we feel about Liv as champion. My one critique for Liv has always been she's never done it on her own. She's never done it clean. It's always been controversial or with help. I don't like that. So
this coming from the person who rooted for a heel Roman for so long. But,
Roman
we'll digress.
Roman can do it on his own and with people. He can do it with or without help.
More on him shortly.
Damn straight. Anyway, in all seriousness though, let's get through the people I don't really. When it comes to Mommy, she's been handling her own. She's been kicking butt, taking names. She said, "You can have that man. I don't care about him." And period. Great example for women. Girls, we don't need no man. I'm just playing. Sometimes you do.
I'm outnumbered.
Not all the time.
Shut.
Not all the time. But when it comes to that situation, she was like, you know what? You want to go over there and be with Liv? Go be with Liv. I'm going to be great over here by myself, and I'm going to do me. And what has she done? She's gone on and done her. And she's found her best friend in Damian, and they are untouchable at this stage unless there's numbers. But we are not going to get into that. It's going to be what it's going to be. But, I think it's pretty straightforward.
I think feelings are very well known in this one.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's pretty straightforward. Will Liv be able to hold her own with no help? Will she find new help? Will she...
And also, will Dom have something up his sleeve? Just
Right.
because he's in the shark cage doesn't mean he's unusable.
And they've had time to prepare, so...
But we'll see what ends up happening. So we're going to get to our picks. Kia's up first on this one. This one is heavy Liv Morgan, surprisingly. I think a lot of people are leaning towards the fact that they think Liv's going to retain. I want to stretch out this picture real quick just so y'all can get a glimpse here. First of all, Rhea and Liv's, both of their pictures are very nice. But if you actually take a look at Dom up in the shark cage, he is up there looking like damn Eddie Guerrero. Absolutely just, tongue stuck out, fingers stuck into motion, everything. Like, this is, they took the time to really make this look impressive, which, of course, is also ironic considering that Dom says he hates being behind bars. He's claustrophobic, scared of heights. So this should be a nice, interesting combination between the two of them. But either way, picks up, Kia. I don't think this is going to take long.
So before we get started, you remember that video you showed me on Instagram?
Stop. We're not even getting into that. We're not even getting into that TikTok. We're not doing it. Go ahead and make your picks. We can move on because Auntie is getting tired and I'm ready to leave.
So I'm gonna pick Rhea. It's an obvious because we know I have no love lost. I have no love for Liv. So Rhea all the way. Get it, girl. Get it.
This is my head and heart pick for this particular one. Heart says Rhea, head says Liv, because why go through all of this if ultimately the end game is just Liv's going to give it back to Rhea? The Judgment Day is going to show up with a plan. Liv will show up with a plan, and maybe Rhea's able to get one more shot out of this, or maybe this is the opportunity under the circumstances where maybe all of a sudden Tiffany swerves and this is where she gets the cash in. So we don't know what's potentially going to happen. Ultimately, though, I do think that, I'd be remiss if I didn't go on the side of brains over brawn. I'm not going to beat up anybody in my life, but I am going to be able to outsmart them. And in most circumstances, the smart person beats the brawn. So I'm going to go Liv Morgan to retain.
Sorry, where do we have the brains at?
Right up here.
Where?
Nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Shoot. What you got, Kat?
I got sleep.
As much as I hate to say it, Liv.
With great disgust.
She's gonna figure out something. She's gonna do something. I don't know. It's gonna make me angry. I can't stand. I can't.
Well, then pick against her.
Well, I can't because she's gonna keep it.
Well, not if you. Well, certainly not with that attitude.
I'm hoping I lose this one. Let me lose this one. So when I will happily give up.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll go Liv.
All right.
I'll say with all respects, if Tiffany cashes in, it would go from one.
We'll all be thrilled if Tiffany cashes in.
I like Tiffany.
Well,
Tiffany has done her thing. You go from one blonde to another.
What I'm trying to say is, it goes from the other one to the cute.
Yeah, period. So there you go.
Well, either way, let's move on to something that's going to make y'all happy.
I'm already happy. What you talking about?
No, happier. That's our next match, which is the penultimate match of this particular live event. It's our only tag match on the card, and oh, is it a doozy? As the loves of y'all's respective lives will finally team up in the towns that they both call home in Atlanta, as the current undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes will team up with, depending upon your point of view, the Tribal Chief, or the OTC, if you will, in Roman Reigns to battle against Bloodline 2.0, that being the current defined Tribal Chief, Solo Sikoa, and his personal enforcer, Jacob Fatu. Obviously, we all know where this rivalry has gone and the personal animosity that has come with it. Anybody who did not watch the ladies pour the tea earlier today, first of all, you missed out on a great show where the ladies had a chance to discuss, first of all, being on the same side for the first time, because Kia is heavy Cody and Alyssa, as you well know, is heavy Roman. And they've been on the opposite ends of each other multiple times, including at each of the last 2 WrestleManias, twice at this last year's. But finally, for the first time, they will be on the same side, perhaps a bit begrudgingly, but they are there. And now you look at, where things stand in terms of, Roman and Cody now having to say, like, look, we've got common enemies, but this is the only time that we are going to, we're only going to be on here until this bell rings and we're done. After that, I don't want to deal with you anymore. And it's all about that championship. It's all about the WWE Undisputed Championship to say, like, hey, where we end up going with this, as the Padres have put up a couple here on the Braves now. So things are turning south for Atlanta. Either way, a lot of game to go. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, we are looking at, Cody and Roman. We all know what they can do individually. But now are they going to be able to work together truly as a team against a group in the Bloodline that clearly has set themselves up to be the successors to Roman Reigns? But, Roman's not ready to quite give it up yet. On Pour the Tea, you mentioned, this also might bring some animosity in terms of the people that Cody has sided with, such as Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. So how does this ultimately entail things? So I've said enough. Ladies, go.
Again, to restate the show from earlier, and if y'all haven't seen it, go see it because it's up now. I think it's been up for a few hours. Finally, for the first time, and it'll probably be the only time, they're on the same side because it's the common enemy that they have. And me and Alyssa will be, like I said, hoopling and hollering. So if y'all are in Atlanta and y'all hear cackling or kiki or kiki, and it sounds really loud, understand that's us.
Ga 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 ga.
No, for real, that's us.
Seriously, we apologize in advance. By we, I mean me. But, because Key gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. My man is down there. I don't care.
Thank you.
But
I do not hear, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just viewing it. I'm excited for this match, but I'm also a little nervous because you've had 2 people who have been on the same side for a common enemy, but then you've had people walk out on that match, leaving that one person to fend for themselves and try to. So I'm hoping, they like they said at the stadium, Georgia Tech Stadium, Bobby Dodd or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that they both have each other's back. I'm hoping that this will work out. I'm hoping that they can put their differences aside for just this match and get on the good foot and kick some butt.
Well, the one thing that, was very, well established through all of that, there was no handshake. This wasn't anything formally in writing. This was the 2 of them meeting at a neutral location that they both felt like they could call theirs, and saying, I'm a man of my word, you're a man of your word. If that's the only thing we agree on, fine. But bases clearing triple, and now it's 5-1 Padres. This is not good, y'all. We got to pull it together.
Right, need to pull it together, not us.
Yeah. But ultimately, they, again, basically saying, like, look, I don't like you. You don't like me. We know what it's about. It's about that championship. It's about me getting back my Ulafala. But right now, we're both facing the same enemy. You want to be done with the Bloodline? And frankly, Roman having to, maybe eat a little crow and having to eat his ego a little bit to have to say, I can't do it by myself. I'm going to need help. And he gets help from the most unlikely of sources, that being the person that he has gone to war with for the last 2.5 years.
But you love a king who can get past himself and get the help that he needs. I'm all for it. Good job, Roman.
And we've discussed, this will be Roman's first match back since his loss at WrestleMania. He's appeared, obviously, multiple times, but it will be his first actual wrestling match. Cody, meanwhile, has put himself into the gauntlet and the tree trimmer and back since he became champion, wanting to be a fighting champion. So it's going to be curious to see if their conflicting styles can be able to go well together.
X-Force.
Exactly, X-Force. Don't sue us, Deadpool, please. Either way, getting to our official, getting to the official selections here. I'm going first. I mean, I gotta go Roman and Cody here. No disrespect, but first of all, there's only one champion in this match, and that's Cody Rhodes. typically I have leaned more towards the side of Roman Reigns in the storylines. But having the two of them together with the pro-Atlanta crowd, which may be the one place where, you know, both of them are going to get cheered louder than anywhere else, maybe short of WrestleMania itself. But this is a dream match made in heaven. I can't picture either Cody or Roman getting pinned in this particular match. So I do like Roman and Cody.
We do too, clearly.
Yeah, I was gonna say this shouldn't take long.
Tell y'all who we're taking, Cody
and as you can imagine, the voting is very heavy on Cody and Roman as well.
And there you
but
go. You have our answer.
At least make it official.
Cody and Roman. Just
there
kidding.
We go.
So,
go ahead and move on to the next one because apparently, exactly. Ha! As soon as he gets in, Roman spears him and leaves him there. Ha 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 ha! I was behind Solo the whole time. Gosh, I hope not. And that sounded kind of.
And Cody, if you do that shit, I'm coming. Yes, myself.
Well, Brandy, you know, will be at the door waiting for you. Who told you that tonight was open mic night?
I'm on the way.
Exactly. Let's move to the main event, and the reason why we can say this is the main event is because WWE has already confirmed it is the main event. Too much to the disgust of most people from Atlanta, but also when it is the only match that is going to take place inside Hell in a Cell, which is the staple of the Bad Blood live event. It makes sense why it would be defined as the main event. The bitter rivalry that has now gone on for 9 months finally brings itself to its final conclusion. Adam Pearce has said this is it. Drew McIntyre has said this is it. CM Punk has said this is it. This is where it has to end, and it has to be inside Hell in a Cell. Two people go in, and they will continue to keep fighting inside of the cell until one of them finally decides, I'm good, that's enough, I'm ready for this to be over. Which could take a while, considering the anger of these two, considering that both sets of families, Drew's family as well as AJ on CM Punk's side, have both told them, like, please don't go do this. You cannot sit here and allow yourself to continue with this rivalry. It's turning you into somebody I don't know. But neither one of them can get past their ego, and neither one of them can get past the anger that they have caused each other. Both of them have cost each other embarrassment. Both of them have caused each other injuries. At this stage, they just flat out don't like each other. And now you're going to put them inside of a confined area to where they're going to have no rules, no limitations, and they're going to fight until one person decides, you know what, that's enough. I'm good now. Hell in a Cell. This is going to be a bloodbath.
Bump.
Yep.
I'm about ready for it to be over. I'm tired of seeing it. I need Drew to move on and go up against someone else who will be of great entertainment value. Gunther. I feel like we're just seeing it in a different form. We're seeing it in Hell in a Cell. I feel like, with all respect, I feel like Punk back in his prime would have been good with this match. I don't think this Punk that we're getting this time around is going to. I don't think it's going to work. We saw what Drew did when he actually picked him up and bounced his body and his head against the steel grate outside on the other side of the wall. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We saw how that worked out. So I feel like Drew's going to take it a step further, and he's going to bounce his body all over that Hell in a Cell, and he's just not gonna. Punk's not gonna look like himself after Drew is done. Not saying that that's my pick, but it makes.
We'll find that out here in about 2 minutes.
But it is what it is. Good luck to Punk. I'm pulling for you. I hope it works out for you. That outfit that I saw you in last night did not work out for you. I need you to make life decisions better than that. Please and thank you.
Drew's looked fine, though.
I'm talking about when Punk was on NXT last night.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about his choice of outfit on Raw.
No.
Drew's suit on Raw.
Chef's kiss?
I wanted to punch my TV. You look so doggone good.
Oh, damn.
So that man got me through Roman Vigo.
He really did. I never thought I would see the day, but, he did what he had to do.
Y'all know I love me a good heel. That's all I'm going to say. I don't care. I don't care. A heel man. Let me go ahead and clarify right there. Love me a good heel man.
There you go.
Because I could just hear you now. You don't like Liv. She's a heel. I don't give a fuck. I don't like her. I like heel men. In all seriousness, though, sorry, baby, I woke him up.
Shame.
In all seriousness, though, I mean, this has been premium live event after premium live event after Raw, after Sabotage, after taking petty flights, after this has been in the making, and honestly, I'm ready to see it end. It's nothing against them. They're telling a great story, whatever.
Oh no, the storyline writing has been immaculate.
Oh yeah, it's been wonderful. They've been hilarious. I love the petty. It sustains me. They have enough beef in their life to contain me. I don't need beef at this stage. Them two. Between them shirts and the flights,
let's not forget the gravesite viewing cemetery. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh god, and they just keep changing it up and everything else. They've got 6 levels of T-shirts, and now Seth's got one with Bronson Reed.
Love to see it.
Boy, I wish we could talk about that, but nothing to do with this live event.
But yeah, I mean, it's time to see it conclude. They both had their ups, they both had their downs. We watched this man chase a bracelet. We watched this man pull a bracelet out of his junk and then him take it and put it on his hand. Levels of triflingness that I never thought I needed to see, but dear God, I did. And you know what? I made it to the other side, and hopefully both of them will make it to the other side of that steel cage, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Our guest. That means it's time for me to go take meds here in a second. So let's bring this on. I mean, this is almost time for bed. But either way, let's move into the picks though. One thing that is going to be said though about this whole thing though is both people have clearly come out and said it. I'm prepared to be the end of me if that's what it means. And like our one person in here said earlier, he talked about who would Drew feud with, and we all put our names out there. I think Punk's, though, is a little more obvious. I think he goes right for Seth, because they've still got some unsquashed beef that they've got to deal with. Okay. And now that Seth is back and Seth deals with Bronson, I really do feel that's where it's heading in terms of Punk after this. But this rivalry does need to end. Each has one win over the other. Drew winning at SummerSlam and claiming the bracelet yet again. Punk winning the strap match in... What was the one before this one? Not No Mercy, but Bash in Berlin.
There you go.
I was going to say, I knew it was in there somewhere. I just had to pull it out. But ultimately, Alyssa, you're up first on this one.
I mean,
again, it's got to end.
You could just, I can make my decision based on the information you just said. They had a one-on-one match at SummerSlam. Drew beat the snot out of him. They had a less physical, more, strap, beat each other with the strap, drag each other. Punk won that one. When it comes to them physically, I'm sorry, I have to go Drew. Plus, that man eats him up on the mic. I'm sorry. Hilarious. Oh! I mean,
which is odd because very few people can match up with Punk on the mic.
I love it. I'm here for the petty. I'm here for the sustenance.
Kia?
All right. All right, y'all. I felt like y'all got my answer when I was talking about it. I feel like Drew now is going to, I would say, wipe the floor with Punk, but he's gonna throw him around that cage. He's gonna get bounced around. He's gonna get bouncy. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Good luck. I'm picking Drew because again, I want him to move on to Gunther because I want to see the back and forth. Because Gunther, that's gonna be great. So Drew's gonna win. That's my pick. Yeah.
Okay. This one, just voting-wise, just so y'all can be made aware as well, was slightly in CM Punk's favor when I last looked, but that one also has jumped back and forth consistently, so that'll be another one where it's going to come down to probably just a couple of votes. So again, community page, jump on here on YouTube, go put your votes in because it just might make the difference.
I say, don't get caught on the wrong side.
Exactly, but... this one, Alyssa, I'm going to kind of, roll off what you said. In the physical match, you went with Drew. When you went with the match that maybe had a little more thinking and a little more strategy involved, it went Punk's favor. Hell in a Cell involves both because you're going to have the physicality side and most definitely need to have two people that are going to be prepared to go through any and all lengths because essentially all bets are off and all... fronts are in play here when it comes to, this type of matchup. That being said, I'm going to go with CM Punk for one reason, and that is because historically, Hell in a Cell has been a problem for Drew McIntyre. Drew actually is 0-4 all time in Hell in a Cell matches, including twice losing the WWE Championship, his most infamous loss being to Randy Orton during the pandemic inside, although technically he was pinned outside Hell in a Cell, but, that's not the point.
That's neither here nor there.
Exactly. There are no rules in Hell in a Cell. But I feel like in this storyline where Drew has been the person that made it personal, in those stories, typically the person who overstepped the line has to get their comeuppance in the end. I'm not sitting here telling you Drew can't win this match. I think this is going to be a bloodbath that I am going to thoroughly sit at the edge of my seat and enjoy every moment of. But I'm going to go CM Punk to win this because I do feel that ultimately he is the one that was in my viewpoint, I think the one that ultimately was on the wrong end of all of this in the end, even though some of it may have been self-inflicted by his choices ahead of time earlier in the year, maybe at Mania and before. But I do think Punk finds a way to... He might have to crawl out of there, or be stretchered out of there, but he is going to find a way to pull this one out.
All I'll say is records may lean one way, but they got to change at some point.
Right.
4 can easily go 1-4.
Oh, yeah.
If they have the right night. So.
That's it. You only you hit one lucky move or, one bad fall off that cage. I don't want to see, I don't know if I'm ready to see one of them fall off Hell in a Cell to go through an announcer's table like Foley did or like Shane McMahon did. But
I remember that. That was good.
Good Lord. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Kevin Owens a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So it definitely has all the making of somebody pulling out something humongous. But either way, that brings a wrap to this. As you heard, the alarm has gone off. It's late at night. The Braves are in deep trouble. So we got to try to pull it together or, hit the bed if we decide we're back by far enough. But ladies, parting words, we will be in Atlanta, so look out for the Mania Club shirts. Look out for the OTRA belt. Come over, say hey. We don't bite. Well, I don't bite. I can't guarantee any of them. But they promise nothing. But ladies, parting words?
Have a good night, have a good day, have a good evening, wherever y'all are. Make sure it's good, and we will see you on the flip side.
Bye!
You knew that's where she was going.